Hi guys, it's Saturday and I am ready to make some breakfast for myself. Actually, this is going to be a little bit of a play on the famous Amberlynn Reid's breakfast. Before anybody says anything, I know she has a lot of hate. This isn't about what she does or what she did. I don't care. I'm more focused on the fact that she's trying again to lose weight. I understand her. I was about her age when I finally made the decision to change my life and to go on a health journey and to lose weight. And it was the best decision I did for myself. And I know that she's tried a lot of times. So have I. And so has anybody that's been overweight in their life. I wouldn't judge her on her attempts of trying, even if they weren't the best choices for her. She still tried, and I lived the same way. I tried and tried until finally I figured it out. I decided in 2018 to go keto, and I did that for almost 7 years. And within 8 months, I had lost 67 pounds, and I've kept it off ever since with occasional 5, 10 pounds, something like that. But I'm trying to get it done again. It only popped back up on the scale. I think it's because I'm going through that stage of life where everything just kind of settles and holds. Could be a myth, could be true. I don't know. I know a lot of women go through it. But other than that, I would like to show a few different options for breakfast. I think that we get bored, especially when we're trying to live a healthy lifestyle. And I know that I've become very bored with my menu, but you got to keep doing it. It's just something that you have to do. It's not like we're supposed to have Burger Monday, Taco Tuesday, it's not supposed to always be like that. Those are like treats and special occasion type meals. So enough talking, let's get to breakfast because I'm hungry. All right, guys, I'm hungry and I'm ready to eat. So let's start our first part of our breakfast, okay? So if you haven't heard about chaffles, they're basically just another form of a bread. It's basically supposed to be made with egg and cheese and almond flour, and that's where it gets the chaffle. The chaffle, CH, for the cheese. Affle is for waffle, because you make it in a mini waffle iron. So this is what you'll be needing. It's a little mini. That's it. These are like $10. I've had this for, I don't know, probably the whole time I've been doing this. So probably right at the start. I think I made it waited a few months before I bought one. But pretty much like about 6 years I've had this little guy in my corner. And I got my waffle iron all nice and hot. And first we have to grease it. I like to use a little bit of olive oil. I know that olive oil can be very high in calories, but what I did is I bought this 89-cent little contraption from Temu, and I think I've had this for over a year, and I just absolutely love it. If you don't want to use olive oil, another thing that I like to do is that after we make bacon, as long as we don't burn the grease, we take the oil, because that's fat, and we take all the big chunks out of here and we put it in a little dish, and we just leave it on the side of our stove. And anytime we need to grease a pan, we actually use this. This is natural. It comes right from the pork, bacon, and it's free. Why throw it away? It's just another way. It's like beef tallow, but bacon fat, and it works. So you can use whatever you'd like. Me personally, I'll use whatever I have close to me, and I'm gonna do the oil today. But I don't just spray it and then that's it. I actually have a little brush that I keep also on the side of my stove. So when I spray, I wipe it and then I move my on. So I'm just going to do one little spray, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to coat both sides because, you know, both sides are going to stick. Sometimes it becomes a little too much oil, so I just kind of drain it a little bit if I feel it's a little too much. But, you know, you need kind of a lot. Now, some people, when they're making the chaffles, they'll add a little bit of cheese, then the mixture, and then a little bit of cheese again. Now what this does is this gives the chaffle a little bit more of a firm hold, because they tend to just wilt a little bit after they are cooked. So if you add a little bit of shredded cheese before you put the batter and then shredded cheese on top, it adds a nice crisp layer, which holds very nicely. But we're not going to do that for the sake of calories today. So here's my little chaffle batter. I pre-made it for the sake of saving time. It is 1 tablespoon of cottage cheese, which is 20 grams when you measure it on a food scale. Then we got 3 tablespoons of almond flour, which is 21 grams if you measure by the scale. Then we got 1 egg, 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder, and 1 teaspoon of water. What I did is that I blended the egg and the cottage cheese and the water together first. Then I added my dry ingredients and I mix it, and then I let it rest. It's very important to just let it rest a little bit because everything gets activated, and it kind of solidifies a little bit better. And I do that a lot with my breads, definitely my breads. So let's get started. So I'll take 1 tablespoon of the batter, and I'll just pour it on the chaffle like this. I'm sorry, the waffle. I'll do 1 more because I do about 2 tablespoons of batter per chaffle. And you just make sure everything is covered. Okay. Then we're going to close this lid. And that's it. 4 minutes and you're going to have a chaffle. And it's going to go perfectly well with what we're going to have for breakfast today. So, for sake of time, while that cooks for 4 minutes, I'm going to bring you over here to the stove. And I'm going to show you another breakfast that I love to eat. I'm just going to do simple eggs. Okay? But what I like to do is that I like to throw in my cottage cheese at the end. It makes the eggs so creamy, so satisfying. I just absolutely love it. So you saw me grease it a little bit with the olive oil. Now, I like soft scrambled eggs. My mom used to love that, and she got me into it. You can also do some fried eggs or over easy eggs, and you can put you can put a layer of cottage cheese like on the bottom of the plate, and then you put the 3 eggs on top, the over easy eggs, and then you do a nice side of avocado, and it is just the best breakfast. I love it. Like I said, I try. I'm not going to make too many meals for the video. I'll make them as we go along. But I have 2 egg dishes to start us off with the chaffle. Let's get started. I'm hungry. So we're going to do our eggs. But once again, I blended everything. I prepped everything before the video because I'm not going to put you guys through that because it does take a little bit of time. It takes effort to really commit to a lifestyle like this. And not only are you committing to the lifestyle, but once you lose the weight, you want to keep going. And after you keep going, you realize that not only do you want to exercise and be thin, but then you start taking a little bit more pride into what the food actually is that goes in your mouth. For the past 2 years, I've really focused a lot on nutrition. And I'm very grateful that my husband wanted to get involved with me on this journey. So we try to make everything from scratch. My husband makes a great bread, and I make my stuff. And when we get like rotisserie chickens, we don't throw the carcass away. We put that bad boy right in a crock pot, and we throw, you know, veggies and water and spices and a lot of bay leaves, because I love bay leaves. And we throw that in there, and we cook that carcass for like 3 days to extract everything out of it. And we have a deep freezer full of bone broth. So as you see what I'm doing the whole Gordon Ramsay thing, where you're supposed to take the eggs off the pan and things like that, because as you pull it away, the pan is going to do all of the remainder of the cooking for you. So I'm going to just turn it off. And now that they're done, our chaffle is done. Let's go over here, guys, so you can see. Ooh, it's like magic. I opened up and there was a chaffle. How does that look? I think that looks pretty good. So now we're gonna just take it out. See? Perfect. And you're just gonna repeat the steps again. It's completely simple. Anyone can do this. It takes minimal ingredients. The only thing for at least this, you'll need almond flour. But if you're in the beginning stages and you're just gonna use almond flour for like chaffles, you'll be eating chaffles for like 6 months if you use it specifically. I go through a ton of almond flour because obviously I bake, but I do the breads too, and the cookies, and everything requires freaking almond flour. So expensive, but whatever. So what's worse, spending money on doctors and surgeries and health aids and all of that, or are you going to spend a little bit of extra money on some ingredients so you can actually make your food yourself and be better off in the end? I would choose it. And you don't have to go broke to eat well. I mean, yeah, it could get a little bit boring if you don't get like other ingredients, but I mean, we're not supposed to have a buffet of food in our life. We're just supposed to eat to get through the day, and yeah, the special occasions we'll indulge and enjoy, but not every day is supposed to be a buffet. So I think that's where a lot of people get confused, because they just think that they're supposed to eat all this gluttonous food all the time. And in my past, I used to indulge, obviously, but that was before I educated myself on how to live the way I'm supposed to. So now the eggs are cooked. I'm going to take my cream cheese, and I'm just going to pour it in. And then I just do that for a little bit. Let the heat of the eggs melt it a little bit. And then I just start folding. Now, seriously, guys, this is like my go-to breakfast. I eat this almost every day. For real, almost every day. Well, not the weekends, I'll admit. On the weekends, I typically just kind of fast a little bit. I try to go as long as I can without really eating. Because I'll admit, I really kind of hate sitting down to meals. I'm more of a like a snacker. I like little meals. I like grazing. Sometimes I'll prepare like a charcuterie board for myself and just, you know, graze all day while I do my chores. But whatever. I'm getting hungry. Food always tastes better when it looks good. You don't want to eat something that looks like slop. At least I don't. I'm just putting it really slow for, you know, effect. All right. This is for Amberlynn. I've seen many reaction channels talk about that they don't believe you're eating the amount of eggs that you're eating. So I'm going to show what 3 eggs and 70 grams of cottage cheese looks like. This is smaller than an 8-inch plate, which I typically use. I'll show you what we use here. These are my plates. I always use them. I try to buy smaller plates to make sure that everything just fits right here on the plate, and that's it. This one is one of those little saucer plates or something. So anyway, this is 3 eggs and 70 grams is ready of cottage cheese. Again, another perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Look at that. Guys, I mean, this takes like no time. There's no excuse. You can even make these ahead of time and put them in the fridge, freeze them, and then put them in a toaster. That's all you gotta do is just put them in a toaster. I think this recipe says that you're supposed to get... It says like you're supposed to get two chaffles. But I typically get like 3. Maybe because I do the table... I pour it with a tablespoon. So if that is true, then I'll keep it that way because that means less calories per serving. I will do the math and show you guys what everything comes out to in the end. So this is the last chaffle we got. 4 minutes. 4 minutes. Now, we're gonna do one more egg dish because we're doing breakfast. Another go-to that I absolutely love to eat. And you're gonna like die. And yes, it's made with cottage cheese too. I like to do egg salad. Egg salad is so good. And the minute I realized I can make it with cottage cheese, I was very happy. This is 30 grams of cottage cheese and a butt ton of mustard. I like the mustard. It's low in calories, a free calorie for me. So I'm gonna do it. What next? I'm gonna do 3 eggs. 3 boiled eggs. I always eat 3 eggs. It's just my thing. It keeps me full, keeps me satisfied for the day. I don't eat it, though, in one sitting, my breakfast. I have to actually break it up because I tend to feel very, like, really full and uncomfortable if I attempt to eat the whole thing. So whatever I make for breakfast, I just split it into containers. And I eat the first one once I get to work, which is 9 o'clock. And then sometime around 11 o'clock is when I'll eat the other portion of my breakfast. And usually by the time I have that second part of my breakfast, I'm usually good until about 2 o'clock sometimes for lunch. Sometimes I could even skip it. It just depends on the day. And I was doing that for a while. Like I was fasting, and then I would eat at like 12, like the breakfast, and I was so like full all day because I was fasting and I was waiting. But then I would start getting hungry like around 4, and I still had like another hour left of work, and I didn't want to like eat my lunch at that time because I knew I was going to come home to dinner in an hour. So then I would come home and I would eat the dinner, but because I skipped lunch, I was like starving, and I was like, nah, this ain't working. I tried that for a while and it just wasn't working. I wasn't seeing any results. So I said, you know what? F the fasting. My body's not responding to it. I'm just going to stop. So then, with a bunch of trial and error, I discovered that I do better with eating the small meals. So now I've actually kind of switched to like the 6 small meals a day thing. And man, I have been seeing such great results. I'm not hungry at night, and like after my dinner, I'm not really hungry anymore. Here is another breakfast. Plain, simple, easy to do. You can make this at night. There's no excuse to why you can't eat a good, healthy, whole food breakfast. You don't need bars. You don't need toast. You don't need none of that. Simple protein will keep you fuller, longer, and just improve the weight loss. So let's get eating.